Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to share 3 fun activities you can do to help celebrate and ring in the new year in your own classroom. If you've watched my videos before, then welcome back. And if you are new here, my name is Susan Jones. I'm a former first grade and K-2 literacy teacher who now spends a lot of time here on YouTube sharing tips, activities, and lots of freebies for K-2 teachers like you. With 2021 coming to an end, it is a fun time in your classroom to kind of start fresh, kick off the new year, remind each other of all those rules we were supposed to be following back in December, and start the year off strong. So let's dive into these activities, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and let's go! Now, the first activity I'm not going to spend too much time on because I shared about this last year, but I do have this free close reading passage for the new year. Now, this is a passage I would read with my first or second grade students. With my first grade students, I would go ahead and read it to them. We would definitely do this as a whole group activity, and with second grade, you could probably have them do this independently. But essentially, in the passage, students will read about what a New Year's resolution is, how we go about making one, and then there is a vocabulary and a comprehension sheet that goes along with it. And then with both the vocabulary and the comprehension, it's going to be text-based, like evidence-based. So students have to go back into the text to find their answers. It's a freebie I've had for a while, so if you want to use it, go ahead and grab it down in the description. All right, activity number 2 is a brand new freebie that I made for you this year. It is called Countdown to Zero. It's going to be a math subtraction game. So let me show you how to play. Okay, so for this simple math game, Countdown to Zero, here it is already in progress. So the goal of the game is students are going to count down from 100 all the way to 0. So whoever gets to 0 first is the winner. What they'll do is they'll each get a game piece and start on the game board, which is right here. And they will go ahead and roll around the board. So let's start with red, move 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -1. Now here they are on the 100 chart. Most of my first graders and even some of my second graders, I would definitely have used this as a tool. And they are going to start at 100, and then whatever they land on, they'll move back that many spaces. So they're counting back 1. So they're at 64. Now yellow will go. +2. So they're actually going to move up 2 more. So there are 4 different small +1s here just to make it a little more interesting. But again, students simply continue to roll and subtract. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now they're at 57. And what they'll do on this board over here, here is the red or pink player. Once they get down away from the 60s and they're in the 50s, they can go ahead and color in that next little part here. So now they are in the 50s and they are never able to go back up. Meaning if they get, a +1, okay, and they get another +1 or a +2, the highest they can go is to 60, but I don't have them continue to go back up. Just to keep this going, and they keep marking off their 10s along the way so they can check in and see who's closest to winning. But it's a very simple game that students can play. They'll just continue to roll, move their little piece if they need to. If in second grade you wanted to challenge them, I would take this little 100 chart away and they would continue to play but with scrap paper. So that is definitely another way they can do this. You may have some first graders that want that challenge as well. So they will start at 100 on the scrap paper and just continue writing, 100 -4, -5, +1, and try to keep track of the math that way, which could be another fun twist. That fun math game is an easy one to throw in a center for January, so you can also grab that down below in the description. Now for activity number 3, this can be a great time to go ahead and compare and contrast our Happy New Year with the Lunar New Year. Now because the Lunar New Year follows the new moon, it doesn't fall the same time every single year. This year, I believe it is February 1st, 2022. I will correct that if that's not not correct, but I'm pretty sure it is. But it will always fall between January 21st and February 21st. So in January, after maybe you've gotten back from break and talked a little bit about New Year and how we celebrated, how people in your class celebrated, it can be a good time to talk about the Lunar New Year and compare and contrast the different traditions. Now there's this really short but informative video that Scholastic made. It looks like this here on YouTube, and that shares a little bit about some of the Lunar New Year traditions. But a couple other books I love are Bringing in the New Year by Grace Lynn. This one is definitely geared towards younger children, but it's great because each member in the family in the story, they get ready to celebrate the new year by doing things like sweeping and making dumplings and getting their hair cut. Some traditional things that families do when getting ready for the Lunar New Year. Another great book is this one right here, Our Lunar New Year. And this one is great because sometimes our students might get the Lunar New Year wrapped up with just Chinese New Year, but there are actually many different Asian countries that celebrate the Lunar New Year, and this book goes into them and what the subtle differences might be between each of them celebrating the Lunar New Year. Those two books plus that video would be great for comparing and contrasting, like I said, after you've already talked about what your students did to celebrate their New Year. And last year I mentioned this book right here, Shante Keys and the New Year's Peas, because I loved this one where it explained what different families and different cultures in Shante Keys' neighborhood actually eat to celebrate their new year, and it kind of already goes into a little bit of comparing and contrasting, so you can use this book along with the others. Then of course in February, when the Lunar New Year actually arrives, you could talk a little bit more about it, but this way students have some background knowledge and they've already begun to compare and contrast the two. So there you have 3 easy activities that you can do with your students to help celebrate the new year in your classroom. Regardless of how or if you celebrate the new year in your classroom, January can be a wonderful time to press that reset button and kind of get a nice fresh page for your students. It's also heading into that springtime where you get to see just how much your students have grown each year, and that is like the most magical time of the year in my opinion, right around that April, March, spring break area. Just my favorite. As always, if you enjoyed these ideas and activities, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up so I know. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel and click that bell. That way you get notified of every new video. I'll see you in the next one and have a happy new year. Bye.